It looks just like a normal house, it lives like a normal house, and yet this house just outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia offers the very latest in green living. Welcome to Green Solutions in Focus. I'm Tom Foreman, and we've chosen this place to host our show because it underscores how people all over the country are finding ways to make their daily lives more environmentally friendly. Once again, the fine photojournalists at CNN have spread out to capture stories that shed light on that subject, and light itself is the subject for our first one, from photojournalist Jeremy Moorhead about the rapidly changing business of bulbs.
We are at Frager's Hardware, established in 1920, 11 blocks from the U.S. Capitol.
Would you like a bag? $11.60.
I would call this energy efficient land.
No, but I'm being serious. Thank you so much.
Thanks. We have your traditional incandescents. Yes, sir.
I'm looking for one of these light bulbs.
The light bulbs are a big factor in the store's success. Like $10, put up to 100, or you could use, a compact fluorescent in there too. It's using gases to illuminate the glass. You're only using roughly 20 or 21% of the wattage on a compact fluorescent than you are in a 60-watt soft white incandescent bulb. My house converted to all compact fluorescents. I have seen, energy savings. It lowers your air conditioning bill because you're emitting less heat. A LED bulb where you get 2.5 to 3 times longer life than you do with a CFL. Bulb like this is in the $50 range. That's the Cadillac. This should last 46 years. That's longer than I'm gonna be around. $1.81 to operate this light bulb. 65 watt, it's going to cost you 5 to 6 times more.
I want to open it.
So we're trying to reduce the consumption in the entire country. It's going to benefit us in the long run.
This house by Arlington Designer Homes has many green features in it, even if you can't see them. There is geothermal heat and cooling to keep the temperature balanced at all times. There's special spray foam insulation to keep down energy bills. It's filled with fixtures and appliances that are energy saving. Cutting down on energy consumption is a passion for many green advocates, and it's driven a lot of interest in home solar panels. The problem is they're just too expensive for many people. However, photojournalist Floyd Yarmouth found a company willing to rent those panels and let the homeowners keep the savings.
Solar power is making power from the sun. It is creating electricity that the sun shines down, converts into electricity here on the home, and it's going to power this home. Solar power is green energy because it basically uses no fuel. It just takes the power from the sun. It doesn't emit any gases, any carbon dioxide, any pollutants. The sun shines, it sends energy through photons. Those photons hit the solar panels, convert into electricity. The electricity travels into your electric box, and from there, it's powering all of the devices in your home. If you actually produce more solar than you use, you're going to send a little bit of that back out to the grid, and your electric meter will actually spin backwards. You get a credit for that time from your electric company. At night, when you're not producing electricity, you're pulling the electricity from the grid. So most homes are hybrids. They have a part of their electricity from the utility company and a part from solar. One of the things that is really exciting right now for solar is the affordability of it has really gotten to be on a different level in the last several years. Leasing opens up a whole new class of consumers that just weren't available to solar. They may want to go solar, they may want to go green, they may want to be more independent from their utility company, but they didn't want to spend the money.
Like to be able to produce my own
electricity if I could. So the best thing I could do is put solar panels up. I'm hoping to save 40 to 50% on my electric bill. With the lease, the maintenance on it is going to be done for the next 20 years. I don't have to worry about it. It's being done. It just made sense, economic sense.
When we return, you've never seen a home trashed like the one we're going to visit, and it doesn't mean what you think. And
we're looking for striped bass. That's about the only thing we're going to catch is hopefully are some large striped bass.
fishing for solutions on the bay.
Wow, that's a huge fish.
When Green Solutions in Focus continues. By some estimates, the average American produces 4 pounds of waste a day, much of it from what we eat and drink in our kitchens. And you can imagine in a home like this, a whole family could produce a whole lot more, or maybe a whole lot less. For example, if you're the Johnson family in San Francisco, well, I'm going to let photojournalist Jeff King pick up the story from there.
This is our 2011 trash tally. I think because food in general is really what creates the most waste in the house. So for example, we get our milk in milk bottles, and then we take the milk bottles back to the store. This is the shopping tote. So for example, that's a glass jar. This is one of the clean jars, and this one will be filled with meat or fish. I have the cloth bags and for the bulk dried goods, and I also have these mesh bags for the produce. This is where we store our veggies. In this refrigerator, we can just throw it in there loose. It stays really crisp and nice. This lifestyle was hard to start with, I think, because you have so much to figure out.
For me, the initial pain I felt was, I felt like, wow, Bea's going to these farmers markets, she's going to these stores where she's getting bulk food, and she's buying organics and so forth. We must be spending a ton of money. And when I finally did the comparison, I mean, it was shocking. Overall, we figured out that we were saving about 40%.
People think that zero waste is only about tackling the discards. But it's not about that. It's really stopping waste from coming into the home. It's stopping, being more careful about your consumption. This is the compost bin.
Kitchen compost bin.
It's not painful to, instead of sweeping my leftovers from a plate into the trash, we can come out here and put it into the worm bin. The worms then will basically process all the veggie scraps and create a compost.
I think I took it perhaps a little too far at first. I took it to an extreme that was just, in the end, not sustainable. Once we found a really good balance, we realized that, okay, now I think we found a way of doing this for the rest of our lives.
Of course, we all bring massive amounts of products into our homes, food and electronics and clothing and personal care items. That last category caught the attention of another woman out in California who saw an opportunity to go green with skincare. And photojournalist John Toragoi introduces us.
So we're in a garden in Santa Monica Canyon. I'm harvesting lavender that I use to infuse my oils for my skincare. Here we have some lemon and lime leaves. There's a little bit of mint, and there's some rosemary as well. My dream was always to create a simple, pure line of skincare. This is the eucalyptus that we harvested this morning. A lot of it I hang upside down to dry and just start to prep this for the hair and scalp oil. Elite Organics, it's about building the surface immunity of the skin and maintaining that immunity and having a protective barrier. It's not a mass-produced line. Our core ingredients are our garden herbs, our ethically harvested honeys. It's really important that whenever you apply a moisturizer to your skin, that your skin is damp. You always want an oil and a water to work together, because oil and water do mix when it comes to skincare. We specialize in serums, creams, and masks, things that you leave on your skin because you want to nourish and feed your skin and kind of work out?
I feel fantastic about using it, and I don't want to use anything that has chemicals anymore, and that where I don't know where the ingredients came from.
So this is something you could easily make at home. Put a little green tea for a little texture. I never knew that this was what was in skincare, you know, neurotoxins and carcinogens, skin sensitizers and detergents and plastics and petrochemicals. Clearly, I have a product line, and skincare is my passion. And I've been doing this for 21 years, but there are many pieces of the puzzle to be beautiful. Beauty is a whole. So beauty isn't just an external, it's like how you live your life is beautiful. That's what radiates when you're doing things for your community or you're helping someone else. I mean, that's a green beauty queen.
Fuel expands when it heats up. A lot of times it's coming from a cold underground tank. It hits your warm boat and it'll keep expanding.
In a moment, taking the environmental high road on the high seas. And a bright idea. The old-fashioned light bulb's beginning and maybe its end when Green Solutions in Focus continues. With jobs and kids and social commitments, it's not always easy getting out to get in touch with nature in a state park or a national forest. But just outside the door of your home, you may find a great place to cultivate a green yard in more ways than you can imagine, as William Walker discovered in Georgia.
There's native plants all over the United States. They easily adapt to your area, your soil temperatures, your soil types. They're adapted to their region, so you don't have to do extra fertilizing to keep them happy. We never say don't use things like the mass-produced things like pansies in the landscape. I like my pansies in the winter too, just for the color. For the most part, once plants are established, they don't need as much water as we think they do. A rain barrel is a good idea, especially if you have a lot of potted plants that you need to water.
1,000 square foot roof will produce 600 gallons of water with 1 inch of rain. This is a rain barrel, and what rain barrels are designed to do is capture your roof's rainwater, you store it, and then you're able to water your plants on a dry day. These rain barrels will push a 50 to 70 foot garden hose anywhere in the property, so you can water any tree periodically as you please. Another way to conserve water is by capturing the condensation from your air conditioner. Drip, 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 just one drip at a time.
I've always used a manual mower on my own lawns. It's not like your grandfather's mower. It's not made out of iron. They make very lightweight versions now. There is a savings on gas. There's also a savings on environmental impact. Power mowers do not have to have catalytic converters as automobiles do. Pound for pound, they are much bigger polluters than automobiles. For cleaning up afterward, we use good old rakes and brooms. It is very possible to save money and be environmentally friendly. It is, in fact, a win-win situation.
Many people want to carry this idea of going green far beyond their homes and their offices and their yards into their leisure activities. And you'll find no greater proponents of that than the tens of millions of recreational boaters in this country. People who like to go fishing and diving and just sightseeing. The Chesapeake Bay, not terribly far from here, has been the site of many environmental challenges over the years. And now boaters are leading the charge out there to make things a lot better. Photojournalist David Ruff takes us for a ride.
It's going to be fabulous. It's a little chilly this morning, but it's going to heat up fast. You ask my wife what I do now, she'll tell you nothing. My name's Ronnie Schaefer. I live in Edgewater, Maryland. I've been down here for 25 years. We're looking for striped bass. That's about the only thing we're going to catch is hopefully are some large striped bass.
We have about just under 200,000 registered boats in Maryland. A lot of boats.
My kids learned to water ski right in here.
You've got your novice boaters, you've got your family boaters, sailors, power boaters, you've got really experienced cruisers, fishermen.
Wow, that's a huge fish. Okay.
Clean boating and all that we do within the watershed, be it at home or anywhere else,
that's serious fish.
It all goes downstream, and if you enjoy what comes out of the water,
this is 38-inch fish.
You need to care about what goes in the water. I think a very common thing, if you have to fuel up your boat,
About how much do you think it will take?
don't top it off. Fuel expands when it heats up. A lot of times it's coming from a cold underground tank. It hits your warm boat and it'll keep expanding.
All right, have a good day, guys.
And then it leaks out.
It's very, very sad to come out here and see plastic bags.
Plastic won't degrade, you know, in my lifetime or anybody's lifetime that's here today.
What is that floating?
Try not to generate so much trash. Put stuff in reusable plastic containers or glass containers, things that you can reuse. That way you don't have trash anyway. Boaters use what we call anti-foulant bottom paints. But there are some great new e-paints out there, environmental paints or greener paints.
This is Pacifica Plus, and it's got Echinacea instead of the regular copper, which controls the barnacles, zebra mussels, and stuff like that.
When you're going to go clean your boat, it's real simple. If you wouldn't put it in a fish tank, don't hose it off the side of the boat. If you hose off the boat after they come in and you've got the wrong kind of soap on there, you could really be harming the aquatic life that you may not even be able to see.
That's a big fish.
That's a nice fish. All these things add up, and it may seem like, oh, I'm just doing one little thing with a great big bay, but it's a lot of little things.
Without clean water, there's no boating, there's no marinas. People don't want to go out and enjoy it. If they can't catch a fish, if they can't swim, then, that whole industry could go away.
Here we go.
So it's really important to take care of it.
He was already known as the Wizard of Menlo Park because he was the man who could make a machine talk.
When we return, Edison's bright idea. Green Solutions in Focus continues in a moment. Nothing else marks the arrival of the electric age quite like the light bulb. It was revolutionary, dazzling. It became the symbol for inspiration itself. So as we contemplate all of these changes in how we use electricity and indeed all of the resources around us, we thought it would be fitting to close by looking at the origins of this bright idea. And once again, it's through the lens of Jeremy Moorhead.
We are in the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History exhibition known as Lighting a Revolution. We look at the process of invention using Edison's light bulb as a case study. And then we look at the process of inventing electric lighting 100 years after Edison to see how inventors do things differently and how some things haven't changed. Right now we are behind the scenes in the vaults, as it were. This is the storage room of the electricity collections. This, in a nutshell, is the history of electric lighting, starting with Edison's work in 1879. This is one of the demonstration lamps. Edison, on December 31st, 1879, invited the world to Menlo Park. He lit the lab, the office building, Sarah Jordan's boarding house across the street with about 100 of these light bulbs. Edison won in the marketplace. And so his light bulb base still is what we work with today. That's the whole